We're going to turn our attention to what's happening at the state and local level, which we all know is very, very important. And we're calling this part of our program, States Set the Pace. And I'm delighted that joining us today is the Governor of Colorado, Democrat Jared Polis. Governor Polis is an entrepreneur, education leader, public servant. He started his first business, American Information Systems, while in college out of his dorm room. By the time that he was 30 years old, he'd launched 3 successful companies, including Pro Flowers, one of the world's leading online flower retailers. Jared's pioneering role in the internet economy earned him an Entrepreneur of the Year distinction from Ernst & Young. Most recently, Governor Polis served as a U.S. representative for Colorado's 2nd Congressional District. That's where we got to know him first. That district stretches from Larimer County and the Wyoming border into the Central Mountains at the heart of Colorado's tourism economy. During his time in Congress, the Center for Effective Lawmaking ranked Governor Polis the most effective member of Colorado's House delegation due to his success largely working across the aisle to improve Colorado's schools, protect public lands, and support startups and small businesses. Following these business successes, Governor Polis committed himself to making sure other Coloradans had the opportunity to pursue their dreams. He co-founded TechStars, a startup accelerator that mentors entrepreneurs from all walks of life, and Patriot Boot Camp, which helps veterans start their own small business after coming home from their service. So please join me in welcoming Governor Polis. We all go to Colorado, I'm sure. We love the state, and we want to know how he's doing, how the state's doing. So, Governor, good afternoon. I see you are enjoying a terrific day, beautiful day in Colorado. Good for you. That is terrific. Thank you for your time with us today. We had a great productive relationship with you when you were in Congress, and you're doing a terrific job in Colorado. I do want to send regards to you from a number of Roundtable members, Rick Sapkin, of course, Willie Walker, Mike Shannon, Eric Resnick, the list goes on, and of course our mutual friend, Norm Brownstein. So we give you our regards, our best regards. You've got a difficult job and you're doing a great job by all accounts. So let's get right with it. As states are slowly reopening and as Colorado is phasing in its reopening, what are you considering? What are the challenges and what are you thinking about as businesses and the economy reopens in Colorado?
Getting everything back in as safe as way as possible. I mean, if you've had your hair cut, you've noticed that your stylists are wearing masks. Restaurants, the tables are spaced a little bit more. It's got to be done in a sustainable way. I mean, when states are doing, trying to go back, or anybody's trying to go back to living life exactly as it was, we know this thing takes off in that environment. I mean, it had what's called an R0 value of, 3 or 4. Every person who had it spread it to 3 or 4 people before we changed our culture, meaning we learned to do the social distancing. We wear masks when we're in stores in public. So, the Coloradans just need to stick with it. I mean, we are doing well. And to put things in perspective, doing well doesn't mean there won't be more loss. There won't be more hospitalizations. There of course will be. But what it means is we won't overwhelm our hospitals, and we won't overwhelm our capacity to administer care to people.
Yeah, as we've looked at it, obviously we want people to get back to their workplace. We want restaurants. We want everything to get going again. But actually, confidence. How do you, work? We have to instill confidence. Our buildings need to be as healthy as possible. And what are you thinking about in instilling confidence in people?
So in Colorado, pretty much everything is back, with the exception of some of the what you might call social businesses. Like there's no concerts or bars yet. I mean, we're figuring out the way to move forward with that. But all of the other, we were one of the first to, of course, reopen stores, and they're reasonably safe, and salons, and they're reasonably safe, and obviously office workers are back. Generally, we like the spacing is good, and obviously companies that can telecommute and not lose productivity, that's wonderful. We encourage that. That's certainly a good thing. I think as we move forward, we just have to make sure that we have this under control in the sense that it doesn't overwhelm our healthcare system, that people are free to make the choices. Some people want to take more risks than others, and that's fine. I mean, this year you can do, you go swimming, you can go summer camp, all those things, but not everybody wants to. And that's that confidence piece. You can't really force that. It's when things are safer, people will be more confident, right? I mean, it's one comes out of the other. The more people are very rational, the more dangerous things are, the less likely they are to do them. So, take restaurants as an example. Spacing tables at 6 feet, some restaurateurs love it, some don't. I mean, the ones that don't say, wait a minute, I can barely make a go of it. Now we're trying to say you can be at 100% capacity because you go outside, you do tables everywhere else. But the truth of the matter is, if you were not doing that, it wouldn't only be a public health issue, it would be a consumer confidence issue. So you need to make sure that you're able to tell consumers, yes, this activity is reasonably safe. Not perfectly safe. I mean, you want to be perfectly safe, stay at home, but reasonably safe. And we have reasonable precautions around it given the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, it's a shared responsibility. We all have our own levels of risk, and we all have to take responsibility for things. How can the private sector and businesses, real estate businesses, obviously in particular, how can we be more helpful to your goals and what you're trying to do there?
Well, I think in general, this with the way the clinical trajectory of COVID-19 works, people over 65 should be more concerned. And that's independent of pre-existing health conditions. Age itself is a primary risk factor. Of course, people of all ages at any particular age, pre-existing conditions can make it worse. But you see a clinical trajectory of folks in their 20s and their 30s that is not that worrisome. I mean, it's not good. You still have 2 or 3 out of 100 that have to be hospitalized, and 1 in every few thousand that don't make it out. But then you look at people in their 60s, and you're more like 1 in 4 need to be hospitalized. 1 in 3 need to be hospitalized in their 70s and 80s. I mean, and then many more don't make it out. So just be cautious, be aware. Everybody has the risks that they want to do in life. I mean, some people like, paragliding and jumping out of airplanes. I mean, it's not for me, but, they want to take that risk. That's fine. So just be thoughtful, be rational, take the risk you're comfortable with, and don't take the risk you're not comfortable with.
Yeah. It's interesting watching you there because there's people occasionally walking behind you. Do they have any idea that the governor of Colorado is standing right there?
Well, they don't recognize me without my mask. I usually wear my mask. So when I'm not wearing my mask, I'm incognito.
Well, one last question, because I know one thing that we're all concerned about is what are we supposed to be doing? And we want to do the right thing. Has your health department, I imagine, has been very active in creating some guidelines and rules of the road, so to speak, for people to follow?
Yeah, so that's really the kind of way you do business. So as I said, if you've been to a hair salon, you've seen that the stylist wore a mask. You go to a restaurant, you see the spacing. Pools are back. There's limits on these things, but they're generally back. Summer camps, groups of 25 kids outside. Sports leagues are playing. All this stuff is happening, but people are just being a little bit more thoughtful, a little more careful about it. And yes, as you indicated from a confidence perspective, yes, participation is down because, it's a very reasonable thing. If it's a kid that lives with their grandparents in their 60s and they don't want to do the added risk of them being in daycare or sports league, that's understandable, and so people are making all sorts of different decisions.
Well, we'll let you go. I did notice somewhere on the internet about a private sector fund to help people and businesses. And that's really to be applauded. And I hope it's going great for you. I know you're raising, maybe you've got 15 or 20 million that you've raised now, and that's fantastic. And I hope that our industry is helping. Please think of us as a resource, sir. We loved working with you when you were a member of Congress on different issues. It was fantastic. And keep that state the way it is. It's a beautiful state.
Yeah, so you can go to helpcoloradonow.org to help out our nonprofit. It fills in, as you said, we of course deeply appreciate the Paycheck Protection Program, as we all do. But for whatever reason, there's businesses that didn't fit, didn't work for. We're grateful it was just extended the time, which is great for our hospitality industry. But we don't have nearly the resources of that at the state level. But we're trying to do both a nonprofit and a public-private effort to just fill in some of those pieces. And of course, real estate should be, is attentive to that because, your success is a function of people's ability to pay rents, whether it's retail businesses, whether it's commercial office space, whether it's homes. or apartments, we need to keep those businesses going. Part of that means they're able to pay their rent. Part of that means they're able to continue to offer those services as safely as possible to the general public.
That is absolutely true. By the way, I forgot, I did want to ask you about other states. We're seeing, some states in the Southwest that maybe did not have a huge impact early on, but it does seem there are some more cases. Is that, I assume that's part of your thinking and concern.
Yeah, we are very worried about neighboring states. We have two that are on the upswing rather than the downswing. That's Arizona and Utah. So, if you know Colorado geography, they both border us, Arizona diagonally, Utah, very close to western Colorado. So, yes, of course, we worry about the trajectory of neighboring states. The effect of the pandemic in New Jersey, New York, Connecticut was regional, right? It was one market. We're a little bit more spread out here, but certainly we worry about rising rates in nearby states.
Yeah. Well, Governor, you're kind to do this, and please enjoy the rest of the day. Keep up. Thank you for your service. Governors are where it's happening, where it's at in so many ways. And thank you so much, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care.